Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the U18 Call of Duty League. It's Championship Sunday of the final tournament of Season 6. It's Champ Sunday of Champs. You gotta love it. It's Shake, it's Graph, U18 Call of Duty League, brought to you by Gamer X Society. Beth, how you feel about this one? Map number 1, Skyline Hardpoint. We got OMiT ready to rock. It's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, OMiT Unreal Nightmare, a classic matchup. These two teams have played against each other uncountable number of times, and they're going to give it all they have. I do fully expect these teams to meet each other back in Grands, no matter which of them goes down to losers. But they're going to look to try to get that upper hand right here, right now, with some early hill control from OMiT. They're going to try to get those P2 spawns underway. But even still, a little bit of a slow start from both of these sides. Nothing too crazy just yet. Webby on a 3K already, though. It's a good start for them. And look at OMiT. They're just completely cleaning up those P2 spawns. I mean, even forfeiting some of that P1 time is more than acceptable if you're able to get a good hold on this P2.
Yeah, especially with the 19 seconds you got on the front side, he'll definitely take it winning these P2 spawns, but you do got a little bit of a battle going on. Poison tried to get Mixie, did get caught down. Good coverage there. On P2 was Nate, who picked up that kill. Now all the blue arrows are all the way in the back. Luckily, you do at least go 1-for-1 there. If you're Unreal Nightmare trying to push through the kitchen side, Wevy is going to get dealt with by Busy. So a little bit of a wall they're running into is Unreal Nightmare. Big kill on the hill. Nate able to trade that out. So OMiT just kind of, bobbing and weaving, getting some kills here or there, getting the hill time, making sure someone is pushing up. And at P3, that's still a ways to go. They got about 30 seconds. OMiT, they're playing well so far.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty rough time for Unreal Nightmares to... I mean, we're still very early on in this map, but OMiT is doing OMiT things, and when they're doing OMiT things, it's going to be pretty hard, but a 3 down will flip the scrap on that P2. Now over to P3 again. OMiT, they're the first ones here. They want to get deep positions. What a gunfight that is from Sovereign. Gets a great amount of space to work off of. Will get picked up there by Webby in the back line. Is still OMiT maintaining control of this P3, fighting out towards Jacuzzi's side, towards P1, and they're going to try to find these players, and they will. A bunch more time is now theirs for the taking as it's Webby and Super Season trying to make their way towards the point. Nades through. No trophies down just yet for OMiT, so a good opportunity to make this break happen, but a great timing from Nate. Will give them one. Sully trades one back to open up the point just that little bit. It's all down to Hyde. Gets a little bit of help from Sovereign on the back end. That AR is just singing as a 4 down. Will be a great start for OMiT.
And it's not a nice tune for Unreal Nightmare, down about 50 points at the moment. You do have a player in the back, and that's going to be Super Season in some definitely strong positioning, trying to lock that down. And just as you say that, Nate gets that back spawn and folds Unreal Nightmare set up like a cheap card table, because all of a sudden they have to break now through the front. Good kill there. Super Season finding it onto Sovereign. Sully as well. Busy trying to work through bedroom, just trying to find some of these last players around the outside. OMiT just collapsing upon the hill, finding so many clutch kills. And it's not even necessarily always one of these players is popping, consistent 2s or 3s. It's definitely happened, but it's just consistent teamwork out of OMiT, one after another.
Yeah, I mean, they just find the trades. I mean, they're so good at maintaining the spawns. Even though it was a super trade-heavy P4, I mean, they just have the positioning, they have the spawns to just get back in the fight so much faster, as it looks like Unreal. Gonna try to break through the front end again. Wevy can't quite win that fight. That might be the end of this P4 as OMiT, again, with a good play. It's gonna be all down to Poison to see if something can happen towards this P4, but with time running low, they might just give up and head back to that P1. They've got a good setup for it right now. They don't want to jeopardize that, but there they go. Down go 3, and now OMiT, they'll be able to chain 4 into 1 easily, as Nate gonna get that cleanup of extended 4 down, as OMiT now with an opportunity to get this chain going, but Sully and Poison have something to say about that. They'll get 2. Webby gonna get traded back as Sully gets another one onto Hyde. That'll leave it all down to Nate to hold this point. For OMiT, couple headshots is not enough, as it's Unreal Nightmare. No give up in their language. They get onto the point real quick, as at the end of the first rotation, they're down, and they need a good second rotation to get their way back into this one.
Oh, absolutely. Still down by about 90. Nate onto a 5 spree now as he and his team are just locking down this P1 off of that 4 dead. And now Super gets a trade, just trying to make their way back to the hill towards that P2 side. Easier said than done. Sully and Levy will pick up a couple. And it's just been trades consistently being played a little bit more effectively by OMiT Brooklyn in the pace. They're just taking it to Unreal Nightmare. It's the success we saw Unreal Nightmare have yesterday was in their pace and being in the face of their opponents. And they're kind of getting hit with that in their own right in this one.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty tough break. I mean, look at just how far pushed forwards OMiT are, and they have those back spawns. They can afford to go down, but Super Season gets a great timing, finding two. Busy. We'll get one before getting traded down as well. Unreal Nightmares, they find the break temporarily, but again, those spawns are so lethal. Nate going to maintain that positioning, but even still, Super Season out towards that back end. Nate does get pinched and taken down. The spawns flip, and Unreal Nightmares, they're the one that's positioned for now, but they just get wiped out by Busy and Hyde. Still able to trade one back, but it's a little bit in the background. So no timing onto the hill for now. Nate gonna find two on the back end of that. The timing not good for Hyde, but it gets bailed out by his teammate. Poison gonna grab one onto Sovereign, but it's not enough just yet. They will find their way onto the hill one more time, but it's with 8 seconds left, and we're heading to a P3.
Get your rotations going, gentlemen. They are en route, and OMiT a little bit on the back foot, kind of pinned onto that P4 side at the moment, just trying to work out. Good gunfight win by Poison on the hill, trying to look for a second, can't quite connect. Super Season is going to find one. OMiT remains in the hill for the moment. Hyde locking down the hill, just trying to play his life, maybe a couple of shots to help his teammates while they're gathering kills out towards that P2 side. Now you got Sully all by his lonesome, all battered up and bruised. Did hit that regen, just waiting for his team. Poison looking to make a play through the top. But OMiT, they're just consistently playing well. It's just impressive to watch them, and you think at some point maybe they'll slip up. They just haven't all year.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a rotation over to this P4 side. We just see OMiT. I mean, they're giving up this scrap almost entirely just to fight through the front end. Poison going to go down. So will Levy. The Sovereign and Busy make light work of it. And that's the P4. Locked, loaded, signed, sealed, and delivered over to OMiT. They're on 100 points. They could close it out here with a good hold.
See what they got in their bones graph. They've certainly been able to lock things down. P4 getting them that big of a money hold. I don't know if that's possible. It's almost officially not. Locking this thing down just to another contest or two could be at least an extension to a P1. But for the moment, OMiT is locking down. A couple of trades will go through. Unreal Nightmare is just trying to bide some time, get a calculated push, and there's the break. Finding a couple kills. Poison finds one, and there's another two for OMiT. Still on the hill is Unreal Nightmare. The contest comes through. Big gunfight win, but OMiT just there again with the trades. Hyde and Sovereign finding the connection to get the kills right back on to extend that lead.
Yeah, Sully's going to get 3, including a teammate. Sovereign in the shower will get taken down by Super Season. Again, the scrap will flip over, but already at 230 is OMiT. I mean, it's going to be a nigh impossible road to redemption. You have to claim almost all the scrap, almost all the hill time, and already OMiT's the team very set up for P1. They do kill Busy out, that advanced player, but Sully able to grab a second one. An opportunity for Unreal Nightmares. They have to fast break. They have 10 seconds left, but they're just getting shredded. Nate, Hyde, and Busy combined for 3. Wevy's the last one standing, and the last one to fall. OMiT Brooklyn with a statement victory on map 1.
Classic textbook OMiT hardpoint win there, Graph. 250 to 124. They rolled. They faced some resistance at points, but Unreal Nightmare just couldn't get anything sustained on most of these hills. They had, I saw, some holds of like 20 to upwards of 30 seconds, but really no money to be made on any of the hills. OMiT was just too much to deal with throughout the entirety of that map.
Yeah, I mean, doubling up on Unreal Nightmare scoreline is a great start to a series. I mean, OMiT, they've been the team to beat. They've been that top dog for so long, even back when this roster was under SGP. I mean, they were always one of the top teams, and I mean, they're showing exactly why. This is a team that is so consistent. I think that's one of the big things with this OMiT squad. Any map, any mode, you know exactly what you're going to get, and what you're going to get is such a high level that it's absurd.
It's consistency is the key, and they've been dominating. It doesn't matter what org they're under. They are just a great squad to play together. Unreal Nightmare, I feel like in the search and destroy, they can find some success, however, maybe get this thing evened up at one apiece. They are human. We've seen, OMiT certainly also be able to dominate in search and destroy, but I mean, you could also catch them off guard, and that's if you're Unreal Nightmare looking to not go down towards the bottom. That's what you got to do here.
Yeah. I mean, I hate saying this early in series, but this feels like a must-win game if you're Unreal Nightmare. I mean, you cannot afford to go down 0-2 against OMiT ever. I mean, it's a tough spot to put yourself in, losing map 1 against a team like OMiT, but you have Hacienda S&D. This is a map that OMiT have played, but they've looked human on. This is a map that they have been good on, but we've seen, I believe, I'm not sure if it was Unreal Nightmares or another team, but we have seen them lose this map before I want to say it was 6-3. So this is a map that you very much have potential on. If you are Unreal Nightmares, you have that opportunity to make something happen. But again, it's going to come down to who's stronger on the day. Obviously, map 1, that was very clearly OMiT. And if it keeps going that way, they might just roll all the way into Grands. We get loaded with map 2. Hacienda Search and Destroy up next.
It's a fun one, man. I love a little Hacienda. I was playing ranked with, randoms, of course. You solo queue at times. And they're like, oh my God, Hacienda's horrible. I can't, it's the worst thing ever. I was like, what would you rather play? Like, you know what I'm saying? I am a big fan of Hacienda. The players seem to enjoy it just as a switch up from time to time. Breath of fresh air, a couple of shots going down. Wevy will stand tall, take down Busy. First blood, a little bit of a reposition defensively. Super Season on the wrap is going to find another couple. Even Nate by himself gets tracked, found, shot, dead. Unreal Nightmare will put the round 1 in their pocket.
Yeah, great start for Unreal Nightmare, especially that first shot, the first blood of the round. If you can consistently get that first blood, especially on a map as open as Hacienda with a lot of places to hold, a lot of information that you need to gather, that's such a big thing. That was what happened the last time we saw OMiT lose this map. They ended up getting first blooded a lot towards that mid area, trying to take those gun fights through mid and open up the map. And if that's something that they continue to have work against them, I mean, a flawless round already on the board for Unreal Nightmares. They've got a good step towards this map too, but they're going to need a lot more than that.
What they're able to get done here. OMiT, couple of shots out of Sully early on. Nobody falling, working through mid-map. No kills, though. OMiT's just going to work around through the outside, just try to catch everybody off guard. You do get a 1v1 gunfight. Wevy is going to take Sovereign down. But you do have all of OMiT that did go unmarked through the back line. So this is going to be trouble for Unreal Nightmare to try to detect. Nate is going to be the first one up to find a kill, hide, get the information back on up with his life. Timing could be weird at that door. B bomb site is under control by Unreal Nightmare for the moment, but not secure. They lost a player.
Yeah, the pincer there towards that second floor door is just so lethal as now. I mean, Unreal Nightmares, they can't afford to get this bomb down. It's in such a bad spot. They'll trade out one, but that's just not enough. OMiT, they fight back, and a great methodical round from them will get them the map round, or apologies, the round win. Not the map just yet for either of these sides.
Well, I mean, that's something you kind of mentioned, right? If, like, those bang out toward mid don't really go your way, don't put yourself in a blender, try to figure out a different way to do it. And they lost that first blood to Welly. Sovereign does go down, but they gained a lot of information and they got all the way on the other side of the map. They flipped the script and it worked out.
Yeah, flip the script is right. That's exactly what Unreal Nightmare needs to do in the series. Obviously, they weren't able to do it as much as they were hoping for in that last round, but the first one went exactly how they planned. Now again on that defense side, looking to convert another defense round. Wevy this time won't win his 1v1 early. Still high towards the second floor. Will get that kill. Super Season trades one back onto Busy. Still the absolute bang out towards this A side. Slows down a little bit now. Is trying to take that 1v1 as Sully, but it's just nothing to be found. OMiT now 2 rounds in a row.
Yeah, starting to gain a little bit of confidence. Nice gunfight win there at a hide in that top window. Gets shelled out through mid. Finds another one. Nice and tidy there for the last one. And OMiT, I like the way they're kind of just switching up the pace a little bit, not being as aggressive, but just hitting those positions and waiting for things to kind of come to them, as opposed to just trying to bang out and straight up win. It looks like Unreal Nightmare is ready for that type of challenge. So hats off to them for being aware.
Yeah, Unreal Nightmare so far, nothing if not consistent. 2-2 across the board, but they're going to need some kind of standout, some kind of player to step up and be that number one. Busy. Going to find that initial pick. Gets a little bit of help from his teammates to stay up. Now it's Poison looking to try to equalize the numbers. He'll find one. Needs to get out, but can't quite do it. OMiT again. That round quickly through mid. They'll clean it up.
Yeah, it's starting to swarm a little bit once you feel a little bit of confidence, and Hyde is up to 6-2. Why don't you feel confident? Oh, a little bit of a wall bang, cheeky angle. Yeah, you can't just allow this OMiT team to start feeling themselves in a search and destroy. It's going to go bad for you. We talked about the change of pace a little bit. They will start to get aggressive with that lead, and if you're not able to answer quick, it's going to get ugly.
Yeah, as now, I mean... Again, I hate saying it early, but this feels like almost a must-win round if you're Unreal Nightmares. You can't afford to go down 4-1 against OMiT. I mean, I say that about the series, and I say that about this map. You cannot afford to be in a large deficit. This OMiT team is nothing if not consistent, but it's a fast play to try to retake. They've got OMiT sectioned off into a pretty small amount of space right now. They have a great opportunity to try and push forwards. Down goes Poison, as able to find that one trade. Webby trying to get one. Super Season able to find that pick, and it's all down to Sovereign. 1v3 for Sovereign as the defuse already coming through. Should be all and done, and it is. A great containment from Unreal Nightmare as they section off OMiT.
Yeah, I mean, that worked. It was a little bit of a rat trap for them, and they needed that round so OMiT doesn't start to roll with this thing. It was just clinical. They just picked it off one by one, got to the positions they wanted to be. Luckily, most of OMiT happened to just be running out towards that B side, and you win all the gunfights.
Yeah, now again, it's 3-2. Unreal Nightmare, they've given themselves a window. They've put their foot in the door. Now they're looking to open it and really open up this series once again. On this offense side, again, they get the chance to dictate the pace as OMiT going to try to contain the same way they were as Wevy. Going to go for a little bit of a swim here, looking to try to make some big wrap onto these B holding players. I like the change of pace as Super Season. Going to pick up Busy while he's pushing through. They're going to try to pinch the players that are going to defend on this B side. Unfortunately, to their horror, there is nothing from OMiT. They've spread out. They've got a lot of information. They're going to start knowing it's this B side pretty soon, but the wrap starts coming in. I know that these players are flanking through. Nate going to get spotted out, not quite taken down. It's Wevy finally collecting on that flank. Will find one as Sovereign still on the site, looking to try to hold these players back, but it's 3v2. OMiT, they'll fall back. They'll hold hands and try to retake this together.
Yeah, it's going to be good repositioning out of OMiT just to get out with your life, and then you get Sully. Good shell at it, Nate. He's going to find a second. All of a sudden, OMiT has the numbers and time to deal with Welly, and this is a great retake out of OMiT, and he chows through both players there. OMiT ready for the challenge, and that reposition out of Nate and Sovereign just to get out of dodge when they knew they didn't have the numbers and just completely catch Unreal Nightmare off guard on that bomb site. Hats off.
Yeah, I mean, some beautiful composure from this OMiT side. They're down numbers, they're down positioning, and it just does not matter if you hit shots like that. 4-2 now on the board. Another what feels like a must-win round for Unreal Nightmare to stay in this map too, and maybe even in this series.
Ooh, yeah, let's see. Unreal Nightmare, you're not out of it just yet. On the defensive side, all-out pressure towards A. OMiT just going to go clear towards B, so that retake should be interesting. A little bit of a setup here now for OMiT, and the information is there for Unreal Nightmare. Wevy going for a little bit of a wall bang. Doesn't quite connect. Bomb goes down for OMiT, and we got a 4v4 retake.
Yeah, this is the same way that OMiT unfortunately lost on their last time holding this site. They section themselves off into a small amount of space, but can they fight out of it? Looks like the answer is yes for now. 3-2. Now lie the bodies. It's Unreal Nightmare. And a great opportunity. They've got some space, but they just get completely buzzsawed down. OMiT They learn from their mistakes and they clean house.
I feel like maybe it was a little bit too passive out of the side of Unreal Nightmare for that retake, just having 4 players just bang out towards that A and top side and mid. Just a little bit too late. You allowed OMiT to really get deep in their setup and just hit every single angle you could come from.
That's going to be a tough situation for Unreal Nightmares. They're going to need 4 rounds in a row, by no means impossible. That's a tall task against OMiT. They're going to really need to focus on these first bloods. That's something that they need to get the numbers in their favor. The first time we see them really try to push towards this A side is Webby all the way through mid in a great spot. Won't get that first one as it's his teammate, but Busy and Hyde, they'll trade 2 back very swiftly. And again, the numbers in OMiT's favor.
Not looking great for Unreal Nightmare. Could be staring down the barrel of a 2-0 series deficit. Poison, though, trying to make something happen. Just up to him in Super Season. When OMiT's able to group up, that's never good for you. Very, very weak now is Super Season. You gotta hope that Poison's able to do something with that information. Absolutely unable to do that. Busy, though, able to get the trade, but into the clutches of OMiT he goes. And that's going to be a map 2 victory for OMiT.
Yeah, I mean, OMiT, they're feeling it today. I mean, you can just tell by the way they're playing that they are ready to take this prize home. 2-0 already in the series, heading into this map 3, heading to 3 back-to-back vaults. Can't feel like a great situation if you're Unreal Nightmare. The upside of that is if you're able to take the first respawn, the second respawn can come, right along with it. If you get that second respawn, then you have the momentum heading into the search and destroy. There's still a path back into this from Unreal Nightmare, but it is going to be a slog.
Yeah, it seems like the path they have to take almost seems like the path up to Mount Everest at this point, especially when you're down 2-0. If you're able to get that search and destroy, yeah, you brush off that map number 1. Okay, they got us, but we got it back. Now it's 1-1. And like you said, you got to go to Vault 3 times in a row. I don't know if I want to play OMiT on Vault to save my series, let alone start a 3-peat on Vault. It's just not a map that's conducive to sustained success against a squad like OMiT. It seems to be their playground. And we talk about who is one of the best offensive teams in this league on control, on Vault. It's OMiT, and that's going to be a huge problem for Unreal Nightmare to solve.
Yeah, I think that's something that, I mean, all the teams are going to have to try to solve if they want to take down OMiT. And I guess by all the teams, I mean the other 2 teams remaining, one of which being Unreal Nightmare right now. And I mean, OMiT, they're looking to punch that ticket to the grand finals. They've yet to drop a map all champs long, and they're looking to keep it that way. I don't want to count Unreal Nightmare out too quickly. I have a feeling that they're going to be the team that goes for that run back in grands after the stint in losers. But I can't see OMiT dropping this map. I really think that they are playing so well right now, but it's hard to say. I honestly, I've not seen enough of OMiT specifically on control that I can remember off the top of my head to be like, oh yes, they are going to 3-0 or they're going to 3-1 or anything like that. But they've been such a strong team on respawns just all season long. And I mean, even if it is control instead of hardpoint, it carries over. The same principles apply, the same strategies are generally applicable. It's just shoot them. And OMiT is really good at doing that while staying smart at the same time. We see a lot of players that are either smart or have that gun skill, but it feels like just everyone on OMiT has both of them. Either that or they've got someone shot calling like a god in that vehicle.
You gotta wonder, you gotta feel like it's both at some point. You can't just be all gunny all the time. There's some really talented teams in this league. They play smart as well, and I think that's something we also highlight quite a bit. As you get a big 2-piece, make it a 3. Nate getting nasty with the knife early on. Webby and Super are able to get a couple just to kind of keep things even here at 27 apiece. Meanwhile, 1 tick does come through on the A site for OMiT. Now just trying to get a couple of more kills hill so they can get back onto the point. Working around the outside, trying to get some of these players for Unreal Nightmare. Poison gets stunned and unfortunately falls right into the clutches. Super Season will get that trade onto Busy. So I guess you clean that up. Another tick working through for OMiT. You do stop it for the moment and you find a 5 spree if you're Super.
Yeah, now 6. Super. Looking to finish towards this Hellstorm, but will eventually get taken down by Hyde. Still looking for more as Poison will get that kill. First of the map for him. Needs a lot more than that, though. It's been only really Super Season that's been doing much. Now Webby on a 3K will continue to make this work for Unreal Nightmares. They've got not a ton of clock left if you're OMiT. 40 seconds with only 1 tick found on this A side, but now looking towards this B. They've got Nate already towards R, but he's going to get completely sniffed out by Poison. There's now the rest of OMiT. They're caught a little bit flat-footed. An opportunity for Webby to clear off of this A side. Will get chased down. Finds the flank even still onto Busy. Now going to be able to get that regen. As still OMiT going to stop, again, this Unreal Nightmare team. Spread them thin and take them down as Poison up close and personal. Will get that Semtex down. Gets the tag. Knows he's there. Will convert onto that kill. As even still, 22 seconds left is not a lot of time for OMiT to get this A side, especially down respawns. They've still got to go for B afterwards.
And hats off to Unreal Nightmare for just battling their butts off this entire time. Webby finds the last player on the hill that was stopping the clock. Super Season trying to wrap around Sovereign, a big 2-piece. Luckily, Super was there for that trade. And now mid-control kind of leans towards Unreal Nightmare coming out on top of that trade. But Nate finding a big influential kill through mid. OMiT gonna extend it for another minute. 1:07 on the clock as they broke that A site. Live's not in a horrible spot either. You know, you feel like they can clutch this up. It's not desperation, but it seems like if you want to get it done on ticks, you're going to need to get a clean wave and fast.
Oh, Sovereign, that is a beautiful shot. Finding the wrap onto Poison as well. They're just playing for the live. 6-6 they lie as Webby in a great spot to hold them back off this B side. 40 seconds left. That timer may not feel like it's going to come into play, but it very much will if OMiT's not careful. 3 lives left. It's basically an S&D round from here with an ult objective, 2-4, as it's Sovereign and Hyde. You'd prefer no one else in this position than Sovereign. He's been an absolute menace all day long. He's going to look to keep that up. So Hyde spotted out. Now, how much can they do? Sovereign going to get ripped off as Hyde. 11 HP and 13 seconds is all that remains, and he'll be taken alongside it. Unreal Nightmare. They'll open up the scoring in map 3.
Well, there you go. You had to stop him at B. That's what you got to do to OMiT. You figure most teams are going to get A anyway. You just can't let OMiT go crazy. And getting it down to 8 lives apiece until they got that A site done. That's good work out of Unreal Nightmare defensively as well. Yeah, you only had 8 lives, but you had the better positioning. You were set up in top art, and you were just able to work the live advantage from there. That's a really difficult climb over to B street. And you're right, Sovereign did have that nasty little angle, but that was pretty much the highlight of that 8v8 for OMiT. Good job out of Unreal Nightmare.
Yeah, great early nade from Hyde. Will take down Super Season. He's been the player that's been so hot for this Unreal Nightmare side. 14-6 was a great scoreline to have early on in this map, but a 4 down immediately. He's going to start this blunder worrying Hyde. He's got a great wrap onto some of these players, but he's going to get sniffed out by Super Season. Great awareness there to try to prevent this spawn trap, but it's still underway. Busy going to grab one on a Super Season as well as Nate getting a great shot there from P2. Still looking for more. Webby up the top trophy, still trying to sniff out these players, but he's completely surrounded and taken down. As already the life lead starts to snowball. 7 up for OMiT, looking for 8. There it is. Trades back will not be enough as Poison gonna get ripped off of that heady. As even still, OMiT, you can't afford to let this team put you in a blender or you will never escape.
Yeah, I was thinking about that actually for quite a bit. I was like, wow, Poison's been alive for a really long time. Nobody ended up spotting him, but they finally did. Now they're on to the hill for Unreal Nightmare. First bit of progress coming through. did give up a lot of lives just to get that singular tick that did just get stopped for the moment. And now OMiT just kind of flowing around, got that 4 dead, can work in the spawn. Big kill at a super season, who has been a superhero for this squad, up to 17 and 11 in this one now. But OMiT, they're just so overwhelming, aren't they? It's just like, even if you got a 1v1 gunfight, sometimes it feels like there's 2 people shooting at you. Their movement is just so clean. They can move to different positions so quickly. Not only that, the beams are there off of the movement. And just to another round win, the first one for OMiT. Defenses is the tone early. You think they'll answer on offense next?
It's going to be hard to say. I did like Unreal Nightmare's last defense round. Obviously not as dominant as what we just saw. But, I mean, on a map like Vault, it's a situation where it is defense-sided. You know, not as much as something like Protocol, but it is still very much favored for the defenders, I'd say. So, I do want to see Unreal Nightmares take this to a round 5 situation. But with the early tick advantage OMiT's been able to grab, I mean, they're almost certainly ending up on that defense side in round 5.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Did they get more than 1 tick? No, I don't think Unreal Nightmare was able to get more than 1 tick there. So certainly quite the lead at the moment. First blood will go towards the way of Unreal Nightmare. Hide though. Ooh, gets caught out. So that's going to be 3 dead for Unreal Nightmare. Not the spot you want to be in. Wevy, though, will battle, try to keep things alive. Roaming around that A site. And this is just that early bit of chess match towards A. It can be a little bit difficult initially, but if you get that 3 dead, you can start to make things happen.
Yeah, speaking of, I mean, 1.5 ticks already found, 2 probably before Unreal Nightmare will be able to respond. Can they stop the 3rd is the question. And it looks like the answer for now is no. Out through the bottom vault will come 1. Contest comes through. Webby gonna find 2. Does get shut down by Sovereign as it collapsed through onto Sully as well. Poison will trade back 2 to save this A side, at least for now, for Unreal Nightmare. Still respawns in their favor. But 2 ticks already found is a great start to the play for OMiT. Still 40 seconds on the clock. Could run dry like we saw last time if they're not careful. As down 2 respawns is going to make this be a little bit harder. Now 3 is 1 gets picked up by P2. And now it's an opportunity for Unreal. Almost able to get a spawn trap going if they were able to kill Sovereign there. But still, what a shot from Sovereign. What is that? The consistency is off the charts. 9 HP and it does not matter. Still OMiT. Spawn trapped a little bit. Will break out. Still need to get towards this A side. 22 seconds on the clock. Try to make this work. Down 3 respawns, and that B is starting to look like a little bit of a pipe dream as the respawns need to come into their favor if they want any chance at winning this round. It's down to 5 lives in the favor of Unreal Nightmare. Ooh. Make it 6 and make it maybe just the round over. 5 seconds left on the clock. 1 less chance for a fast hit, but they're going to have to fly towards this hill. It's down to Sovereign, and it's down to none. Wow. Unreal Nightmare, again, that time, a great defensive round.
Honestly, now that tick question is really going to become emphasized if we get to that round 5. OMiT wasn't able to do a darn thing outside of that 1 good push they had towards that A site. And then it was just Unreal Nightmare slaying them out left and right. Poison, you know, a little bit below the 8 ball there, but had a good round in that defense for Unreal Nightmare. Now you start to believe on that camp and take a look at Super Season. 21 and 17. He's been the man for them today.
Yeah, I mean, a great performance. I'd say, I mean, was even better early in this map, but even still, I mean, you're in a position where you are slaying it out. And that's what you're going to need against OMiT. You just need to have that gunfighting prowess, as initially that play towards A going to get shut down pretty quick. Wevy gets a great kill onto Hyde before getting traded down. Super Season able to grab 1 before getting the traded by Sovereign. But look at the wrap from Sully. A little bit messy. And it'll lead to 1, but after immediately gets traded. Poison able to grab 1 onto the point. That'll give Unreal Nightmare a little bit of positioning to get some time on. Try to get that first tick underway. Already half of it found. 4 respawns down for each side. A little bit of an advantage for Unreal Nightmare based off their positioning is still. They're able to grab 1. Nate with a double, including his teammate, as a great opportunity for Unreal Nightmares. They should be able to get a second tick here without much say from OMiT. But in goes Nate all by his lonesome. Tries to lone hero it. They can't get away with more than 1. Still onto the point they go. Hyde going to get ripped off as a 3 down. Should secure this A side.
Should lock it in for them. Excellent job there it is. Unreal Nightmare now working on B as well. Wevy trying to get that B streak controlled. Does get taken down, but Super Season, he's being stubborn as a bull on this hill, just trying to get that first tick done. does chow out from Van and gets taken down by Hyde, unfortunately. So now a little bit of a regain here for Unreal Nightmare, who did excellent work to not only get A, but maintain that live advantage as well. And OMiT, they've been getting into trouble on lives pretty consistently in this control, and that the map score certainly makes sense towards that.
Yeah, 5 lives down, and they're going to have to rip Unreal Nightmare off of this hill. Lives don't matter as much if they have to come to you, but now it's going to be the other way around. Hyde, 2 HP, hiding behind this plant, will get the clear out of the point. Now things start to get really dangerous for Unreal Nightmare. You have 2 lives up, but you have to chew it through an OMiT defense. You're playing an S&D round with 1 sight, and that normally does not go super well. So able to grab 1. Same with Super Season onto Nate. Sully able to grab a second one. That'll really open it up, but all these players spawning in art should be able to have something to say about Unreal Nightmares. There's the first one to fall, but onto the point they go. 1 tick already found. They're looking for the second, but even now they have to fall back. They have to relent. They have to regather. They're up lives, and they can't afford to throw this away. They have a golden opportunity to send it to a map 4, and they can't afford to relent now. Webby gonna find 2. That may be the chance they needed. Onto the point they go. 5 respawns left, and they have to fly for the side of OMiT. 2 ticks found. Looking for number 3. Onto the point they have to go. 4 stacking it up, and it's already gone. Unreal Nightmares. They see the light at the end of the tunnel, and they force a map 4.
Well, hey, count us wrong. We both thought OMiT was going to lock this thing away, but Unreal Nightmare certainly had other plans, and they scratched, clawed, and fought the entire way. And what's more impressive to me is the fact that they were able to win that offense just to clutch it up. I thought certainly if they were going to win it, it was going to come down to 6. They were going to get defense round 5, and that's going to be what it was. But no, they kind of came out and they rolled against OMiT. They found success on Vault, and that kind of throws the rest of this series up into question because they seemed a lot more comfortable on Vault than we both thought they were going to.
Yeah, I think part of that was a little bit of I don't even want to say OMiT played bad. They played fine, but they only played fine. I think that's
Right.
not quite the level we've been seeing from OMiT. I mean, in this tournament and in this season, but part of that is Unreal Nightmares. They played very, very solid. They played just consistently well. They won the gunfights they needed to, especially that last round, being able to consistently gain a life advantage on OMiT while attacking that B side is especially impressive with just how hard it can be to get. I mean, they were ripping players off of top art very consistently, and that's a hard shot to hit, even if you're on that AR. But a great round and a great map for Unreal Nightmare. Now heading again, like we've been saying, into 2 more vaults. I mean, you're heading into another vault respawn. Obviously, it's hardpoint instead of that control, but you're able to carry over a little bit of that momentum, a little bit of that opportunity over. And then come a map 5, if you've got that momentum, anything is possible, even against a strong S&D team like OMiT.
Yeah, and we've seen how crazy it gets in Vault S&D, and we're a long way from there, but I mean, if we get there, it's just one of those maps that can go either way, and if you have the momentum and you feel like your gunny is hotter, I don't know, we could see OMiT down in losers for the first time all year in champs, and boy, would that be a special story. But I mean, the more I think about it in the rotations on this vault hardpoint being so important, we talk about P4 being one of the biggest money hills in this entire game. It's going to be tough to overcome because we know OMiT is so heavily focused on that and making sure that they aren't able to make a good hill out of P2 as well. There's just a lot to keep up with. And if you can slay with them like you did in that map number 3, you certainly have a chance.
Yeah. I think there's a big road to redemption here for Unreal Nightmare. I mean, I think even playing a little bit less reliant on that P4 can work if you get some solid time on P3, get some solid time on P2, even keep P1 mixy. You get a great opportunity where overall, obviously, OMiT, they'll get some great time on P4. Obviously, if you get a break, that's gravy, but you have to play a lot more towards these other hills because OMiT, I mean, consistently, they just know implicitly how to hold that P4, but we got to see how it'll pan out. Vault Hardpoint, locked and loaded, map 4 between OMiT and Unreal Nightmare.
I can't wait. This is going to be such a fun one. I don't see either of these teams. I'm going to go ahead and say it right now, and neither team is going to win by more than 50. This is just going to be a knockdown, dragged out fight, and I can't wait to get into it. This is what Champ Sunday is all about, man.
Yeah. I mean, the last time I said that yesterday, I was very wrong, but I will 100% agree with you. I can't see this one being a stripped affair too much. As in again quickly we go. OMiT spawning on that P2 side. Gonna look to keep that in control, but one team kill already. Not going to be a great start. They're still going to be able to maintain that time early, but they flip the spawns immediately for the side of Unreal Nightmares. That is something you will definitely take in trade for 5 points, but they give it up a little bit. They're trying to hit from that P3 side, but they will get into the point, get some time on hill. But they forfeit a little bit of the spawning angle. Poison. Oh, almost found this turnaround on the second. Busy and Nate going to find two. That'll flip the hill once again as Unreal Nightmare with a solitary point to their name. Not a huge fan of the play there from Unreal Nightmare. I feel like a lot of this P1 is just getting those P2 positionings. They had it for a moment, but then they let it slip as now OMiT able to hold on to a lot of time on P1 here. 16 seconds doesn't sound like a lot, but for a first P1, that's some pretty substantial time, especially while holding on to those P2 spawns. But now it's down to Unreal Nightmares. Can they get through the back end? We see Wevy looking to try to hit this route, though Busy more than in position. Will find that kill. 3 down. Will lead OMiT to get a great hold set up on this P2. Quickly through the back door, though. 4 of Unreal spawning towards that side. They didn't get the full spawns for the side of OMiT. And now they're going to have to fight tooth and nail, but it's 3 down immediately. 4 dead in the blink of an eye as Unreal Nightmare. They're going to start getting some nice time.
I think OMiT was fully convinced that they had the back locked down, but all 4 do come resurrected right through the back. OMiT does get those back spawns right back, however, and it's a re-break for them trying to extend this lead. And just as quick as they lose 4 dead, they get 4 dead right back for them. Now a little bit of the split spawn came through. Poison lingering around in the back, just trying to be a nuisance, find one of these kills, have the reinforcements come through, maybe just pin OMiT towards the back as you work towards P3, P4 side. But that's good work out of OMiT after that initial break. Kind of had you panicking a little bit.
Yeah, now heading into this P3, this is where Unreal Nightmare really has to get some points on the board. If they can change P3 into P4 or even keep P3 mixy while maintaining P4 spawns, it's very possible. But 2 dead already. That's another team kill from Hyde. He's been a little bit of an assassin in the wrong kind of way, but even still, again, Art Control will flip over to OMiT as they maintain control of this hill. Nate being an absolute menace. 9 HP. Needs to get the regen off. Tries to dive over the railing, but can't quite get away with it. Poison just a little bit too fast. Sovereign, Season, and Sully still trying to fight for this hill. Can't quite get much on the board as, again, it's OMiT. Maintaining those P4 spawns. They were able to flip that around. Even though there's not a lot of time going for Unreal Nightmare here, they need to get in towards that P4. They can afford to forfeit this P3 even a little bit, keep it gray, but they can't do anything just yet. Trying to hit into the point. It's Busy finding it on the Wevy. Looking for 2, looking for 3. Busy. What is that? As into the P4 we go. It's Unreal Nightmare. They're able to clean up a little bit of that scrap, but even still, P4, a huge setup opportunity for OMiT. As look at the map control. Look at how far away Unreal Nightmare. They're going to have to trek through this map. They rip out Hyde after he gets one. The close spawn will come in through with Sovereign. Able to get one trade on the Super Season as Wevy will find one. Still a great chow that is from Wevy. As Poison able to find one as well. An opportunity to try to make their way towards this hill. Still 3 from OMiT. Spawning in that back end as onto the time they go. Is trying to find one. Nate with the trade and Hyde with the bonus. As Wevy from that back end still looking for one. Chelling out, but they need to stay on the time for now. 92 to 23. We sit as this first rotation nears its end.
First set done, and an excellent work here out of OMiT. P4 certainly a money hill for them. And Unreal Nightmare just kind of got bundled down that back deep B Street area and weren't able to make any legitimate progress towards that P4. Now they're almost down 100 points. Do have P1 under control as it is popped for the moment, but they need to start winning some of these gunfights. You start to look around at the Unreal Nightmare scoreline, not a whole lot of positive things going on, and just starting to win these gunfights. And the positioning of OMiT is just so clinical, so textbook, and they're winning the gunfights when they get there.
Yeah, I love the patience out of them. I mean, they know they don't have to play with, they're playing with urgency, but not with desperation, is a great way to look at it. They've already got halfway to that 250. And it's just barely the start of the second rotation onto the hill with 25 seconds to go. They've got a good setup, but Sully able to get that first one there onto Busy. Sully's been a little quiet on this hard point. I'd love to see him fully wake up as Sovereign able to grab that first trade. Gets a second. 3 on the board for Sovereign. Looking for that number 4, but it's not necessary as they'll be able to get the P1 points all the way through, looking towards P2, but it's again Unreal Nightmares. They're the first team here. Webby's going to have to stand strong. Two players in front of him. Needs to find at least one of them, but he can't do anything. As onto the point goes Super Season. He'll be absolutely shredded as well. Still the back spawn's in the hands of Unreal Nightmare, but they need to hit through. They need to find time onto this hill. They can't afford to let OMiT keep running away with this behind. He's running and he's frying, able to find two. Looking for more. Hyde on 3 in a row. Poison able to trade one back on a Busy, but it's not enough just yet. Hyde still standing firm, still being that absolute menace towards this back end. Will try to keep this going. Nate able to collapse on the timing, gets 3 of his own as Hyde gives his life for the cause. 4 on the board for Nate as that streak continues to grow. It's Unreal Nightmare. Time for one more hit onto this point, but they'll get absolutely shredded by who else but Hyde and Nate on the board once more. We predicted this wouldn't be a stomp, but it's looking like it.
It's an absolute slam show at the moment for OMiT Brooklyn, locking down that P2 like it was the OMiT penitentiary, and nobody was allowed in without the proper access. And Unreal Nightmare, they didn't have the code to get in whatsoever. Now you're looking at the P3. They are in position to lock down P4, but OMiT's on the hill trying to hit towards that 200-point mark early, and there's just so much blue lining up in this kill feed. You're going to have Hyde working towards that back building, trying to work out towards that P4 side, but OMiT, they're just dominating on the hill yet again. Hyde did get up to a 5 spree, but did get taken down on his adventures up towards that P4 spawn building. But now OMiT, I mean, like I said, they're just locking down so much time here that even if they're a little late on that P4 rotation, it doesn't seem to be that big a deal.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see Unreal get completely ripped off the hill again. Busy and Sovereign going to find 2. Look at the positioning of Nate, though. Number 2 on your mini-map. Looking to try to kill these players towards the back end, and he's going to find them both. That's P4 in the hands of OMiT, and that's exactly what they needed. They could look to close it out here on this P4. 34 points between them and Grand Finals is all they need. As a first kill from Sully will be traded out by OMiT. 2 for 2, lie the trades, but look at the spawns of OMiT. They're spawning basically right on top of the point. Meanwhile, Unreal Nightmares, they're spawning out. They're spawning far as it's down to Webby and Poison. They're up close. They need to find these kills. Poison able to find one there on a Sovereign. Still looking for way more than that, though. As 15 seconds left. They have to go now. It's Webby again on the point. Needs to make this work. Tries to get into the corner, but gets absolutely lit up as Sully Chal's in vain as it's down to Poison, the last chance, and there's just nothing left. It's all OMiT as they punch their ticket to Grand Finals.
And what else is new? They ended up dropping a map on the way there, but my God, I'm just going to stop making like map score predictions. I think is just what I'm going to avoid doing for the rest of my casting career, because my God, I thought this was going to be a bang out, and it was a beat down. OMiT over 200-point victory. You don't see that often. 250 to 43 after a whale of a win on map 3 out of Unreal Nightmare. Maybe that was just all it took out of them. They didn't have anything left. OMiT cruises to Grands.